Hey there, Calc 2 folks. I wanted to put together a little video for you real quick, going through some of the changes that are going to happen for the remainder of this semester and kind of remind you of some of my expectations for you this semester. Uh, all of this is covered in Blackboard. So I did want to kind of run down through this with Blackboard. The rest of your semester, a good portion of it's going to happen right here on Blackboard, folks. So I did want to point out some things and some changes that are happening and respectively happening here on Blackboard. All right. When you're in Blackboard, you should see your courses listed for the spring 2020 here. Down that list, you will see 2020 Spring Math 172 Section 02. If you click into that, it will take us into our Blackboard account. Right? It'll drop you at the notification page, folks. If you're ever looking for in Blackboard and looking for where are the announcements and the calendar and these other things that pop up when you first log in, that is all underneath your course notification page. What you will notice is I have made some changes over here to the left side menu, folks. One of those big changes is just how we're going to handle the rest of the semester. Underneath course outline, you will see some of my noted changes. Let me turn edit mode off here. Right. And I did send you this letter also through an announcement. Again, I will try to communicate with you on a pretty regular basis here for the remainder of the semester through the My Announcements. Folks, anytime I add something I think that's really important that you need to go make sure you look at, or really just in general, I'll try to communicate through you as a class outside of email and whatnot using this announcement system, folks. So you will find all the announcements here, and you will notice I did send you out an announcement, I think just yesterday, over some of the plan changes here. Please make sure that you read through that and that you familiarize yourself with those changes. Not much is changing in here in regards to the rest of the semester other than really how we're going to have to present the material and how we're going to have to conduct ourselves for the next two exams and the final exam. You do want to read through there. And in a sense, we are doing some distance learning now. And these tests and final exam, we are not going to have the opportunity at the current moment to take any of this on campus. Campus has been closed. So we, instead of trying to work something through my math lab or try to prepare something through Blackboard, what I'm going to do is just share with you again your exams, very similar to how you saw your exams presented in 1 and 2 as paper and pencil exams, but presenting them and giving them to you through Blackboard here. I will tell you that it is going to be on the honor system, folks. It'll be open book and notes, but it is going to be on the honor system, folks. One thing you want to keep in mind as a calculus student, especially a calculus 2 student, is that you're in this class as a requirement for your study, right? The degree that you happen to be studying. The skills that you're learning in this class are going to carry forward with you into future classes, future math classes, future science classes, and just maybe your career in general. So that you do want to make sure that you are spending the time learning the material, folks. Otherwise, you are going to find yourself at a bit of a disadvantage at the end of the semester if you, instead of spending the time to learn the material, went about it in a bit more of a creative way in terms of answering and presenting your test to me. So please make sure that you are working on the honor system, that you are doing your own work. And again, we always go back to that first note at the beginning, or one of those notes on my syllabus at the beginning of the semester, where academic integrity is very important in this class. And if at any point in time that I do want to question that integrity, I will do so. So you just want to make sure that you are presenting your own work, your own authentic work. And by now, halfway through the semester, I do kind of have an idea of where everybody's level of performance is out there. And I will tell you, I've been teaching a very long time, so I can certainly see when somebody's being inauthentic in terms of their performance. So, folks, I do point all that out here as we make some of these final changes. Some of these current changes for the remainder of the semester here. But do take note and read through those announcements. Some other things I'll point out here in terms of just your expectations. I am going to expect you to follow along with this course calendar. You will notice I made some certainly the first half of the semester up to the spring break is current with respect to the topics that we had discussed. We did leave For spring break, having finished with test number 2, we did get an extended week here in spring break to kind of give me some time to start prepping for this transition. But we are going to come back on the 30th here, folks, on Monday, where you're going to want to make sure that you spend some time reviewing over sections, or have reviewed over sections 10.1, 10.2, and 10.3. This has always been the plan over spring break, was to come back to these topics on that Monday. So hopefully you've looked at the 10.1, 10.2, 10.3 material. All right. I'm going to expect that on the 30th that by class time you have spent some time in this material. Right? And that calendar does progress through the remainder of the semester. Now, you will notice some changes here, folks, particularly with respect to how tests are going to happen again, as they are going to be more of a take-home, and they will have to be then thus submitted at a certain date and time. And I do have those listed out here on the calendar. We do have to cover chapters 10, chapters 11, 12, and 13 as we progress through the remainder of the semester. And I think I gave you a quick little welcome back video on YouTube, kind of explaining our agenda for the rest of the semester. So that is the course calendar. Hopefully you're following along with that. What in terms of, for instance, Monday's class, when I say that you want to have spent some time in 10.1, 10.2, and 10.3 material, is you might go over to the course content tab and click into there. Down that tab, you will see chapter 10 listed, right? Where I do lay out 10.1, 10.2, and 10.3 with a little bit of direction here, followed up with 10.4, 10.5, 10.6, and so forth, right? In 10.1, you do want to, before class, make sure that you are studying this section of material, and I do give you the page number from the book that you're going to want to reference. You are going to want to pay attention to these topics from that section, right? I do try to present in these topic-based what I think is important from the section in terms of just general topics. If you don't see something from the section on this list, there's a good chance I'm not going to spend a lot of time focused on that material. Before class, you are going to want to maybe look at the 10.1, 10.2, and 10.3 check skills assessments. Again, those are found also in this course content. Remember, folks, these are part of your grade. These 10.1, 10.2, and 10.3, well, all the check skills assessments are part of your grade. Here, 10.1, 10.2, and 10.3 occur together. 10.1, 10.2, and 10.3 is an introduction to the idea of sequences and infinite series. So they kind of go together as a group. So I've grouped them up here in the check skills. Folks, keep in mind, all of these in the end add up for 10% of your final grade. So you do want to stay on top of these for the remainder of the semester. And this is where you are going to find that relevant material, right? And some direction as how to progress through this material and prepare yourself for these check skills, right? You'll also notice in these directions, there's also some practice sections that I reference. Practice sections 10.2 exercises, right? Found on page 659 of the book. 1 through 89, the odd problems. These are, again, just good practice problems from the book that you might want to take a look at. And then also, there's some practice presented on my math lab. And, again, whether you work through the book practice or you work through the my math lab practice, I do want to encourage you to continue to practice outside of class, right? And just in general, in your free time, you want to make sure that you're putting in a good amount of practice in your Calc 2 material. You do want to balance your time so that you can obtain that good amount of practice. A good rule of thumb has always been, for every hour we spend in class, you should be spending 2 hours outside of class practicing. And we meet for, 5 hours a week, or we're on the schedule. We were on the schedule for 5 hours a week. So that's 5 hours of calculus to study in class, and that is 10 hours of study outside of class. And if you're not putting in that 10 hours of study, folks, at least, the expectation is that you may be struggling in the course. So make sure that you're giving yourself a good amount of time to practice outside of class. And I do reference some of that practice here from the book, but there's also some found on my math lab. And then the last bit of your grade that's also found over on my math lab is your my math lab quizzes. You want to make sure that you're completing those before the due date. And as always, the due date is the date of the test, right? And I will keep that up with the date that the test is due digitally to me. That will be when these my math lab quizzes are due. But this is also a 10% of your final grade, folks, and you want to make sure that you're not missing out on these two opportunities. All right. This material is, like I said, laid out for all of the sections we're going to cover this semester up through the end at Chapter 13. Chapters 10, 11, 12, and 13 that we're going to have to move through. Now, another big change you will notice over here is certainly I'm not going to be able to hold office hours on campus, but I do give you access to what I call my now Collaborate schedule. If I click into there, you can see I do have a schedule set up for Collaborate. Now, what Collaborate is it is a bit of a what we might call an online classroom, folks. It is a bit like a chat room, right, with a what we might consider to have a little bit more functionality than your typical chat room. What I do have here is a schedule to meet in that classroom, that digital classroom. For us, I do have time set aside on Monday and Wednesday afternoons from 2 to 3 p.m., folks. You will notice that this time does not cover the entire class time on Monday and Wednesdays, as I really don't plan to get in here and lecture to you over material for 2.5 hours. That would just be very draining on everybody. But it really is going to be a time to field questions from you folks and take concerns over material. That should be part of your what's now going to become really some self-studying and some practice outside of the course. If you're struggling outside of the course, this is going to be a place for you to come and ask some questions. And a chat room is certainly probably a lot nicer than trying to address your questions via email. And then likewise, this chat room gives us a lot of tools to help work with one another. And I will go ahead and I put together a quick introductory video for Collaborate for my college algebra students. What I will do is I'll go ahead and also direct you folks to that video where I introduce some of the features of Collaborate and how to go about logging into one of these class times. You will notice, again, I've set aside 2 to 3 on Monday and Wednesdays for you Calc 2 folks, but certainly you also have some office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays evenings, we might say, here from 8 to 9. That's first come, first serve, so you Calc 2 folks are always welcome to jump in there. I do have time then also set aside for my Calc 3 folks. Depending on how busy that class time could be, you could always sneak into that and maybe ask a few questions if necessary. And then also depending upon how my college algebra times are, you're always welcome to pop into there and see if I'm available for any quick questions. As I kind of noted, I do want to try to focus my time to these students in these individual courses and kind of prioritize them at these times. But if no one is taking advantage of these times during a specific time for those courses, I'm always happy to help a student in another course, right? My classrooms are always open to everybody. So, if you know that you're going to have 10 to 11 open on Monday and Wednesday, and you might say, well, I could use that time to maybe ask Mr. Sexton some questions, go ahead and pop into this Collaborate classroom and just see if I am available, how busy I am helping others. We may just be a few students in there working off on in their own problems out on my math lab, or perhaps the check skills are studying problems from the book, and I might just be logged in working on something currently that I'm trying to develop for all my classes to kind of finish out the semester, and peeking in there and just seeing that I'm not too busy and students aren't in too much need of me at the moment. You can always work with me and get those questions answered, folks. I do expect you to try to log into one of these times at least once a week. If you are struggling with questions, folks, you want to make sure that you take advantage of these times. And if I don't see you in the classroom at all throughout the week, I really am going to start to assume that you're doing okay and that everything is fine outside of class and that you're not struggling and that you're going to be prepared for the next test. So, folks, this is one opportunity you have to communicate with me that is a heck of a lot easier than trying to communicate through email. Right. So that is all found underneath my Collaborate schedule. And as I said, I am going to post up a video that I put together for my college algebra folks that introduces how to log in and some of the features of Collaborate. There is also this other Collaborate link. I wouldn't spend a ton of time there, folks. This is something that's course specific. Only folks from Math 172 can log into any sessions I develop here. And as I said, I'm trying to open my sessions up to all my students. I really do have not a lot of students this semester, so my time can be used wisely across all of those Collaborate schedule times. And I did try to align those with course time so that, as expected, you would hopefully have some time free throughout the day to meet during those times. But that's the Collaborate classroom. I wouldn't, unless I tell you to come over and we're going to be meeting in the classroom for Collaborate, the Collaborate classroom. That would be this link here. I would, how you're going to access Collaborate is again through the Collaborate schedule and through these links. You would just apply this link here. Now, one other change I want to point out real quick here on Blackboard is I've also added YouTube videos down here. Right? I'm going to post some course informational videos, like this video here is going to be posted under course informational videos, and that Blackboard video I'll post under these course informational videos. But you can see, folks, I'm also, for you calculus folks, prepping up some lectures, some video lectures. I do understand a self-study in this material can be a little tricky with it not, with it being the study of calculus. That calculus starting in Calc 1 is really a new topic to a lot of students. It relies on that language of algebra, but it is a new branch of mathematics. So I do want to give you some little insight into my understanding of calculus, and just so that you're prepared. So give you what I think you need to have to be prepared in my courses and in other calc courses that might lay out there in your future and in your science courses and beyond. So I did put together some Chapter 10 lectures. If I click into there, you'll notice I did already post some lectures. These are over on YouTube, folks. I'm going to try to present them chronologically here. By chapter, I do give you a little welcome back video that kind of summarizes real quick what remains this semester, and you can watch through that. But then you can see I did put together some lecture over sequences here that's about 50 minutes in length. I did do a quick little demo on Mathematica. That's one of the other opportunities we're going to have here is I might be able to do some demonstration for you outside of class with some useful systems like Mathematica. Right, and I did present here a demo over sequences, folks, and then I do follow that up with a quick little demonstration over infinite series. So if you're struggling with prepping for that 10.1, 10.2, and 10.3 material that I'm going to hold you accountable for on Monday, here's a quick little lecture. Right, this would be the lecture that I would have presented to you on Monday, or a lot like the lecture I would have presented to you on Monday. And likely here you probably got a little more than what I would have had time for on Monday with returning after this lengthy break and all the changes and whatnot we're dealing with. So I will try to keep things posted here. As I said, I'm kind of prioritizing my classes with you folks because I do want to make sure that I am thorough in your study of calculus here. You folks are in that math branch and going along that math track or science track and are going to make use of these concepts. So I will present that YouTube up to you, all followed here on this YouTube video's link. All right. I think I will stop this video there. As I said, I'll also post up a quick video over Collaborate, really not quick, but about a half-hour video over Collaborate, just showing you how to log in and some of the features. I am talking to a college algebra audience there, folks, mostly, but it's no different for a calculus student also. So just to be somewhat efficient here with the videos I'm putting together, I will just share with you that video. So Calc 2 folks, I hope you're coping, and I hope everything is all right for you and that you're safe and you're well. Again, I'm here trying to work with you and get you all through the end of this semester, and also give you just some sense of normalcy for the remainder of the semester. If you're anything like me, you might be locked down at home, just waiting it out, and this is a way to kind of maybe occupy some of our time. I hope it's a way that we can occupy some of our time and take our mind off of things. So with that said, I will stop there. I'll see you folks in the next video.